Right now at 11 a.m., breaking news in the death of legendary actor Gene Hackman. ABC News has obtained the search warrant for his New Mexico home, but he's found when they arrive.
Musk wanted to start his own businesses. He didn't understand why so many people had to do nothing while the canal was being fixed. To him, the future was already here, ready to be accepted. His words carried a quiet confidence. He didn't offer easy or quick solutions but instead painted a picture of a world ready for change, where people could work together to find new ways to solve problems. He insisted that this wasn't the end of world trade as we knew it but rather a step toward something bigger. His words reflected his concern about the global economy and his own businesses, yet they also carried a sense of hope. The Panama Canal's closure wasn't just a setback, it was a sign that shipping, logistics, and trade needed to be reimagined. Musk wasn't alone in believing that innovation could push the world forward. His entire life had proven that, with the right mindset, even the toughest challenges could be overcome. Hearing Musk's reaction gave many people a sense of urgency and possibility. He didn't downplay the problem or sugarcoat the situation. Instead, he acknowledged the seriousness of the crisis while expressing faith in human intelligence and resourcefulness. His emotions revealed a rare glimpse behind the scenes of a man whose drive often surpasses that of those around him. But this time, it was clear that his concern wasn't just for his businesses, it was for the future of everyone. As the world struggles with the aftermath of the Panama Canal's closure, many are already looking toward the future, toward solutions and innovations that could prevent another crisis like this. While the situation is dire, it also presents an opportunity to rethink how the world moves goods across borders and oceans. One of the most discussed solutions is the role of automation and artificial intelligence, AI, in modernizing global logistics. For decades, shipping has relied on traditional methods that have remained largely unchanged. However, as technology advances, many believe automation could reduce the chances of such disruptions. Automated ships, for example, could revolutionize the shipping industry. These vessels would rely on advanced sensors, AI, and machine learning to navigate the seas more efficiently without human crews. This could help prevent bottlenecks in shipping routes, reduce delays caused by human error, and even enable more sustainable navigation, minimizing environmental impact. Imagine a fleet of intelligent, self-driving ships adjusting their routes in real time based on weather, traffic, and other factors. This could be the future of global trade. AI could also enhance port operations, making them more efficient and resilient. Ports are critical hubs in the supply chain, and delays there can create ripple effects across the entire system. By using AI to predict traffic patterns, optimize docking schedules, and improve cargo handling, ports could function more smoothly even in the face of challenges like the Panama Canal's closure. However, technology alone isn't the only answer. Another possible solution is to develop alternative trade routes and infrastructure that would eliminate reliance on the Panama Canal. This crisis has exposed how dependent the world is on a few key shipping routes, but other paths could be developed, whether through the Arctic, new canals, or expanded rail and road systems. Some experts suggest that an expanded network of canals or tunnels could provide new ways to transport goods between continents without depending on a single choke point like the Panama Canal. One such project is the Northern Sea Route, an Arctic shipping path that has gained attention due to melting ice. As climate change makes the Arctic more accessible, this route could become a viable alternative to traditional shipping lanes. While still in its early stages, the Northern Sea Route could play an important role in the future of global trade. Another area of focus is the development of new infrastructure. For the past century, shipping infrastructure has remained largely the same. But the Panama Canal's closure has highlighted its fragility. To prevent further disruptions, countries may need to invest in more robust infrastructure. This could mean building new ports, expanding existing ones, or creating entirely new transportation networks to accommodate growing demand. With the right investments, the world could build a more resilient system capable of withstanding crises like this one. Yet, infrastructure and technology alone won't be enough. A larger issue looms: climate change. The Panama Canal's closure was partly triggered by a severe drought, underscoring its vulnerability to climate-related disruptions. Rising temperatures, changing rainfall patterns, and increasingly frequent extreme weather events could make the canal even less reliable in the future. As Musk suggested, the world needs to rethink its approach to global trade, factoring in the growing threats of climate change. Addressing this challenge will require global cooperation. In an interconnected world, problems in one country can quickly impact others. The Panama Canal crisis has demonstrated how deeply global trade relies on shared infrastructure. To prevent future disruptions, nations must work together, not just to develop technological solutions but to address the root causes of these challenges. This means taking action against climate change, sharing resources, and investing in technologies that can mitigate the effects of extreme weather. Geopolitical tensions also play a crucial role in global trade. As countries compete for control over strategic routes and resources, conflicts can arise, further complicating the situation. One key lesson from this crisis is the need for international cooperation to ensure smooth trade flows. By working together, nations can resolve issues like rising toll disputes, trade imbalances, and access to critical resources. As Musk pointed out, this is an opportunity for the world to unite and tackle a problem that affects everyone. The road ahead will require a mix of technological innovation, infrastructure investment, and global collaboration. Change is already beginning, with companies exploring new technologies and governments considering alternative trade routes. But building a more resilient global trade system won't be easy. It will take bold ideas, cross-border partnerships, and a willingness to embrace the future. Policymakers and industry leaders must work together to develop adaptive strategies that can withstand future disruptions. Embracing digital transformation and sustainable practices will be crucial to long-term resilience. While the challenges are significant, the potential for a more efficient and interconnected global economy has never been greater. On February 26, 2025, the world was stunned when the bodies of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were discovered under mysterious circumstances. At first, it appeared to be a natural death, a heartbreaking but not uncommon event for an aging couple. However, as the FBI investigated, disturbing inconsistencies began to emerge. Hackman, the Oscar-winning star of The French Connection and Unforgiven, had long left Hollywood behind for a quiet life with his wife in Santa Fe, New Mexico. They valued their privacy, but no one expected their final days to be shrouded in such mystery. A maintenance worker made the gruesome discovery. Arriving for a scheduled checkup, he found the front door wide open. A chill ran down his spine as he stepped inside, calling out for the residents. No response. Then, he saw something horrifying: Gene Hackman's lifeless body in the foyer. His wife, Betsy, was found in the bathroom, surrounded by scattered prescription bottles. Nearby, a dog lay dead under unexplained circumstances. But that wasn't the strangest part. 2 other dogs were found alive but severely dehydrated, wandering the house as if searching for their owners. If this was just a case of natural death, why had one dog perished while the others survived? Investigators found no signs of forced entry, no broken windows, no robbery. It was as if the couple had simply collapsed where they stood. But bodies don't just drop dead for no reason. Something had happened inside that house, something far more sinister. Forensics quickly ruled out carbon monoxide poisoning. There were no dangerous gas leaks. That theory was dismissed almost immediately. But then, the FBI received a chilling piece of evidence: Hackman's pacemaker data. What it revealed sent shockwaves through the investigation. His heart had stopped on February 17, 9 days before their bodies were discovered. But here's the disturbing part: if Hackman had died on February 17, when exactly did Betsy take her last breath? The timeline didn't add up. As the pieces of this twisted puzzle came together, investigators realized one thing: the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were not as simple as they seemed. The deeper the FBI dug, the darker the case became. The deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were not as simple as they seemed. The deeper the FBI dug, the more disturbing the case became. If Hackman's heart had stopped on February 17, why had Betsy seemingly remained alive for days without calling for help? Was she too weak, disoriented, or was something more sinister at play? Investigators combed through their phone records, hoping to find any last calls or messages that could provide a clue. Shockingly, their phones had not been used in the days leading up to their deaths. It was as if they had simply gone silent, completely cut off from the outside world. This baffled authorities. Even in an emergency, most people would at least attempt to call 911. But neither Hackman nor Betsy had made a single outgoing call. Had someone prevented them from reaching out? Even more chilling was the discovery of the locked closet where a dead dog was found. This wasn't just any ordinary pet death, the dog had died of dehydration, meaning it had been trapped there for days. But who or what had locked it inside? The two surviving dogs, though weak from lack of food and water, were found in different parts of the house. It was almost as if they had been waiting for their owners to return. Had they witnessed something? Could their behavior hold a clue to what really happened? With no signs of forced entry or struggle, the FBI began considering the possibility of poisoning. Could something in their home have slowly taken their lives? But toxicology reports found no traces of deadly substances in their bodies. The mystery only deepened. Another theory surfaced: had Betsy suffered a medical emergency after Gene's death, leaving her unable to get help? But again, this didn't explain why she never picked up a phone. Even if she had collapsed later, why hadn't she reached out in the hours or days before that? Then came another shocking twist: the maintenance worker's story wasn't adding up. Initially, he had said he only saw one body before later correcting himself to report two. Investigators began to wonder, had he seen something he wasn't supposed to? They conducted an extensive background check on him, but nothing immediately suspicious turned up. Still, something about his reaction seemed off. People don't just forget discovering two dead bodies, it's a moment seared into the mind forever. As the FBI re-examined the timeline, they realized another disturbing inconsistency. Neighbors claimed they hadn't seen or heard from the couple for at least 2 weeks, yet their home security system, which recorded movement inside the house, picked up unusual activity on February 19, 2 days after Hackman's estimated time of death. Who was moving inside the house? Was it Betsy, still alive and struggling to survive? Or was it someone else? Investigators reviewed security footage from outside the property, but there were no signs of anyone entering or leaving. Yet, the motion detectors inside the home suggested movement. Could an intruder have been inside with them, hidden in plain sight? Authorities began looking into anyone who might have had access to the home, including former employees, delivery workers, and even distant acquaintances. Had someone they trusted betrayed them? Then, another unsettling detail came to light. Just weeks before her death, Betsy had told a close friend that she was feeling uneasy about something. She didn't go into detail, but she hinted that something had been bothering her. Had she sensed danger before it struck? More chilling still, she mentioned that one of their dogs had been acting strangely, nervous, skittish, almost as if it was reacting to something unseen. Dogs are known for their instincts. Had their pets sensed an unseen threat lurking in their home? Theories began swirling. Could there have been an intruder who somehow avoided detection? Or was the explanation something far more terrifying? Had someone they knew played a role in their deaths? At this point, the FBI was under immense pressure to crack the case. Gene Hackman wasn't just any Hollywood star, he was a legend. The world wanted answers. The deeper authorities looked, the clearer it became, this wasn't just a tragic accident. But with so few concrete leads, the case remained frustratingly open-ended. If no one had broken in and no poison had been found, what did happen in that house? The pressure on the FBI was mounting. Every new detail only seemed to make the mystery more tangled. The motion sensors, the dead dog, the missing phone calls, it all pointed to something deeply unsettling. But what? As forensic experts combed through the house again, they made an eerie discovery. Hidden beneath a stack of mail on the kitchen counter was an unopened letter. It had been postmarked weeks before the couple's deaths, and it was from an unknown sender. What was inside left investigators shaken. The letter contained a cryptic message. "You don't know who's watching, but you should." The return address held no signature, just those ominous words. Had Hackman or Betsy read it? If so, had they dismissed it as a prank, or had they been living in fear before their deaths? Authorities scrambled to trace the letter's origin, but their efforts led nowhere. No fingerprints. No surveillance footage of it being dropped off. It was as if the sender had vanished into thin air. Could this be the key to the entire case? As the investigation pressed on, a new terrifying possibility emerged. Was this a case of psychological torment rather than a direct attack? Had someone been watching them, manipulating their fear, slowly breaking them down over time? The idea wasn't as far-fetched as it sounded. There have been cases where victims, believing they were safe in their own homes, were subtly pushed into paranoia, driven to make fatal mistakes out of sheer terror. Could the same have happened to Gan and Betsy? This theory might explain why neither of them called for help. Maybe they had tried, but if they believed they were under constant surveillance, they might have been too afraid to do so. The FBI searched for any signs of hidden cameras or listening devices in the house, but if there had been any, they were long gone by the time investigators arrived. Then came the final, most disturbing twist of all. A forensic specialist, re-examining the house, discovered something almost too bizarre to believe: a faint but deliberate smudge on the inside of the closet door where the dead dog was found. When enhanced under forensic lighting, it revealed a partial fingerprint. The print did not belong to Gene, Betsy, or any known visitor to the house. Someone else had been there. But who, and why? The fingerprint was run through national databases, but no immediate match came up. Was this person a ghost in the system, someone with no record? Or were they so skilled at covering their tracks that they had managed to stay off the radar for years? The revelation sent chills through investigators. It was the first hard evidence that an unknown figure had been inside that home. But without a match, their identity remained a mystery. Even more frustratingly, no new leads emerged. With no clear suspects, no evidence of forced entry, and no known motive, the FBI was forced to classify the case as undetermined. The deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were never officially ruled as homicides, yet they were never fully explained either. It was as if the truth had been erased, leaving behind only speculation and whispers of something much darker. Even now,